Amarnath, Amarnath, now you can post, ma. Amarnath.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir. Welcome. Narayana, sir.
Thank you,
Good
Dr.
morning.
Evangeline. Thank you. Very good morning. I'll stay on mute till everyone joins.
Good morning, sir. Narayanan, sir.
Very good
Happy to
morning.
welcome you.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Our principal also joined, sir. He's
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, very good morning, Rajesh Samuel, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to meet you, sir.
My pleasure, sir. Same.
Dr. Mohana, should we start? We are on the dot.
team for special testing also joined. Good morning, Mr. Alego. Welcome.
Hello, Niven sir. Welcome to the HR Symphony-Investiture ceremony.
Hang on. Yes. Thanks a lot for the welcome and so excited to meet all the young faces here. So looking forward to interacting with all you.
Okay. Sir, next to you, our principal and our keynote speaker is also joined. So probably you can say hi to them.
Oh, yes.
Good morning. Good morning, Niven. Hope you're doing
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
very good. Thank you so much.
A great honor to be on the same stage as you. So,
My pleasure as well, Niven.
yes.
Evangeline ma'am, we can start the session.
Green ma'am will join in 2 minutes.
And we can start the session. We have
Yes,
all
Vishali, you can start.
Yes. We have all gathered here for an event with all of its traditions and ceremony, a time to celebrate the MA HRM department and its legacy as we mark a passage in leadership, a time to renew our commitment to the values and goals that have helped the extraordinary students of this department thrive and succeed in whatever they have set out to do. A time, if only for a few moments, to imagine the possibilities of our future as we prepare to embark on this journey, brimming with confidence to fulfill the expectation of those before us and be trailblazers to those who follow. And on that note, we wish you all a very good morning and we extend a warm welcome to all the dignitaries, faculty, and the students who have gathered here this morning for the investiture ceremony of HR Symphony 2021 to 2022. Let us begin this wonderful session by playing the song of our prestigious college. AV, please.
Reach out to the unreached, providing care and compassion. We die.
and hard work take you one step closer to success. A short motivational video will now be played as we commence the event.
அதுவே ஒழுங்கா வருதான் பாரு.
Thank you, team, for the video that shows from little seeds grow mighty trees with strength and determination. May I now take the pleasure of requesting Dr. P. Mohana, Head of the PG Department of HRM, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Vishali. A very good morning to one and all gathered here. It gives me immense pleasure in welcoming you all to this wonderful occasion. A special word of thanks to our guest of honor, Mr. Narayanan Sundaresan, Vice President, Virtusa Software Services Limited, and Mr. Nivin Santosh, Chief Operating Officer from Vajro, for taking time off their busy schedule to be here with us today to grace this occasion and to deliver their keynote address. I extend a very warm welcome to our Principal, Dr. S. Raja Samuel, and our Dean, Dr. R. Subhashini, for making time to be with us on this special occasion. I also welcome delegates from corporate, members of faculty, and students from MSSW and other colleges. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. This occasion is about the first step that these students are taking in the highway that leads to career success. At this juncture, I would like to share an anecdote with you. A young man walked into the forest to see the beauty of the forest. And as his eyes, strayed across the greenery of the forest, he looked up to see the great bamboo, swaying in its splendor, and at its feet were lush green fern. He heard a voice say to him, "Young man, do you know how it all started? I planted the fern and the bamboo seeds. I gave them light, I gave them water. The fern quickly grew from the earth. Its brilliant green covered the floor. Yet nothing came from the bamboo seed. In the second year, the fern grew more vibrant and plentiful. And again, nothing came from the bamboo seed. In year 3, there are still nothing from the bamboo seed. The same happened in year 4. Then in 5th year, a tiny sprout. Compared to the fern, it was seemingly small and insignificant. But just 6 months later, the bamboo rose to over 100 feet tall. It had spent the 5 years growing roots strong and gave it what it needed to survive. So this experience, through we aim to drive their roots concretely in academic versatility and applied experiences. And now a few words about the department and Symphony. As we all aware that the Department of MAHR this year is one of its significance as the department marching on 17th year journey. The department has come a long way since its inception. What began with 40 students and 2 faculty has now grown into a department of 800 plus illustrious alumnus, 80 students and 5 faculty. The comprehensive, practical and industry integrated structure of the course has helped in producing top caliber HR professionals. In keeping with the vision of the institution and the mission of the department, aimed at molding strategic and socially sensitive business professionals who meet the demands of the time. In the last 16 years, the department has grown from strength to strength, rising steadily in stature and recognition every year. So now, my dear students, as you stand up and take office, remember that the baton has now passed on to you, and it's now your turn to take up the torch of innovation and press forward to carve a niche for yourself and make an impact in the sands of life. So cheers, all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now let us take a moment to understand the concept of the annual HR Symphony event as we prepare to visualize our future today. May I now request Dr. Evangeline, the faculty coordinator of HR Symphony, to brief the gathering on the event.
Thank you, Vishali. A very pleasant morning to everyone. Like you take multiple instruments to hum in unison and strike the right chords to create a symphony, it takes the college and the corporate to interact on a common platform to improve visibility. HR Symphony is an annual conference organized by the students in order to create a forum for discussions on the latest trends in the HR and business scenario to take place. As an effective networking tool, facilitating students to display their professionalism, ideas, and expectations, the HR Symphony conducted over the years has aided in creating professionalism out of students. The vision of HR Symphony is to create a blended experience whereby students apply theoretical knowledge, get industry ready, gain a bird's eye view of the trending management developments, and embark on a journey of self-discovery. The verticals under HR Symphony are Dipstick Study. Dipstick is a research study on current HR issues. The research outcome is presented by students in the respective HR Symphony seminars. This gives them great opportunity to learn and compare the current scenario with that of the past and discuss the same with the professional people and exchange their views. Hurricane. Launched in the year 2005, Hurricane is a biannual newsletter which will be released every year featuring news, views, and developments in the campus, general markets, business trends, and latest trends in the human resource department. It contains writes-up, articles, achievements of the departments, and various events like coffee club, guest lecture, workshops, and other happenings of the department. Innovatia. So it is an intercollegiate national symposium which is being conducted every year by the students. The objectives of HR Symphony are fourfold. It draws from the experiential wisdom of corporate bigwigs, develop leadership capabilities, networking skills, and interpersonal skills in students, help students experience the process of working with constraints, working against deadlines, and resource management. Help students stay updated about the trends in the field of human resource management. The learning outcomes that HR Symphony is geared towards is gaining a hands-on experience of the principles of management, working with attention to detail, drilling down from the larger plan to the minute details, stretching beyond their comfort zone, bringing students closer to the reality of the workplace through the simulation exercises. Thus, HR Symphony, the students' forum of the department, acts as a chisel that fits students to shape before they make the debut to the corporate world. Besides being a forum to debate, exchange, and enlighten, HR Symphony also serves as a platform that works to improve the managerial, organizing, analytical, interpersonal, networking, and teamwork skills of students. Over the past 17 years, Symphony has been synonymous to the Department of MHR. The journey has been a myriad of experiences culminating into beautiful memories. Cheers to all of us who have been there and made it a huge success. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for briefing about the HR Symphony. Leadership is a capacity to translate vision into reality. And on that note, may I now request our ever supportive and beloved principal, Dr. S. Raja Samuel, to deliver the presidential address.
A very good morning to all of you, esteemed chief guest and guest for the day, the head of the department, dean, and the faculty coordinator of the forum, and the student leaders of the forum, and all the other members of the forum. I'm delighted to be here when you inaugurate the activities of the forum for this academic year. As outlined by Dr. Evangeline, you have heard the scope of the forum, and I see that it has a really wide scope for learning. And as I always say, this forums and other activities of the department offer a very good platform for students to develop themselves and learn more than what is shared in the classrooms. In my opinion, I think the classroom will give you only 25% of the learning, and another 25% probably you will learn from your own work through these forums and other, listening to lectures like the ones that are going to be delivered by our guests here this morning. And another 25% probably you will learn from your internship, and the remaining 25% you won't learn anything now. Probably it's lifelong, and while you gain experience, you will learn. So these are important aspects of the learning. Events like these are very important. Apart from learning, you also get to exercise your skills of leadership, of organizing, of communicating with the outside world, communicating among your own teammates, classmates, and so on. So these are wonderful opportunities, and I'm glad that the department has been keeping up the tradition of organizing very good activities, excellent activities, very useful, and activities that provide a lot of learning to students. So I want to congratulate the department once again for running this forum for quite some years, and also making use of every opportunity to find innovative ways of bringing together students in different formats, not only students, but also guests from outside. And I appreciate the presence of Mr. Narayan and Mr. Nivin here this morning. You really add a lot of value to our college when you come to the campus, and or when you are virtually or on campus, when you come and share your experience. You've had several years of experience behind you, and you've decided to spend this time here at the college. We really appreciate that. In fact, we take great pride in listing the names of guests who visited the college in our annual report, in our printed annual report. So that's important because you really add a lot of value, and I appreciate your presence here. Thank you so much for coming over and spending the time here. And I want to appreciate the student coordinator of the forum, the faculty coordinator, as well as the student leaders of the forum. You have taken on a great responsibility. Give your full, the best of efforts. Always, there is no shortcut to results. There's no shortcut to a successful result. It's always hard work, and as much as you give, you will get back. As much as you sow, you will reap. That's been my experience. So give it all your best. You may be a leader. Sometimes you're just an ordinary forum member, but it need not deter you from giving it your best. You will be definitely given some responsibility, even if you're not a leader of the forum. But give it your best. Then you will see that you will learn, and the department also benefits from that. Your classmates also benefit. So with that, let me wish this particular team, the 21-22 team for the HR Symphony Forum, all the very best in all the activities, and wish the department also success in all its activities. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. So the moment we have been waiting for is finally here. Yes, we are now going to unveil the theme which we have been much waited for. I request the team to play the theme reveal video. Thank the technical team for the visual treat. The most exciting part of the event has arrived. I now call upon Ms. Lochana, the student president, to unveil the theme for the HR Symphony.
On behalf of the HR Symphony team, I'm extremely glad and privileged to present the theme of HR Symphony 21-22, Evolve, enriching HR values and opportunities, leading through varying environments. The corporate world is no stranger to rapidly changing business needs. It becomes a challenge for every organization to give their employees the best work experience possible. This is where the human resource team comes into the play. This is where we also understand the tactics of the new practices that the industries are adopting. Organizations need employees who can perform productively in times of change. Their main goal would be job enrichment. It leads to motivation in employees and increases job satisfaction as well as productivity of the business. Changes in the workforce can also lead to the formation of new values in the organization. Work ethic is not the same as it was a few years ago. In the days gone by, employees pursue their job with deep devotion. We have also kept the major focus on the new things that the corporates came up with during this pandemic situation. HR analytics as aging analytics, hybrid workplace as fusion workstation, contingent work expansion, employee psychological and social safety net, employee engagement now as digi engagement, redesigning jobs now as job crafting, co-working places as hot desking, consumerization of HR and redesigning, perennials and reimagining diversity, equity, and inclusion, change management now as life cycle of HR to lifestyle of HR. With that, a brief explanation and theme, and outline about the theme for this academic year is revealed. Stay tuned for the extremely interesting things that the team has planned to engage all the participants of HR Symphony 21-22. Thank you.
Thank you, Lochana. I commend the team for the selection of such a relevant and captivating theme. We look forward to seeing it come to life. I now call upon Mr. Hariharan, the Vice President of the Student Forum, to introduce our keynote speaker for the day, Mr. Narayanan Sundaresan.
Good morning to one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our esteemed and exuberant keynote speaker, Mr. Narayan Sundaresan. Welcome, sir. Mr. Narayan Sundaresan is an electronics graduate with an MBA from Symbiosis, Pune. He has more than 25 years of experience in the field of information technology, where Sir has been managing large teams all over the globe. Sir has worked for several marquee clients such as MasterCard, GE, and several others. He is currently the Vice President and Global Head of Application Modernization for Virtuosa Software Services Limited. The American author and entrepreneur, Tim Fargo, had once said that, "Who you are tomorrow begins with what you do today." This quote deeply resonates with our Sir's progress as he has always seized every day, which is clearly visible by seeing his experience in various fields such as banking, finance, insurance, and healthcare sector. Sir has also managed global delivery and technology horizontal. Sir has also been instrumental in creating innovative ideas that has helped his company and clients with new process models for better project deliveries and higher productivity rates. Sir has been awarded with Global People Excellence Award for his people management, grooming, and career building skills. He has been one of the brains behind creating engineering IQ assessment framework for his organization. Sir is also a passionate singer, stage drama artist, and he's also been involved in several social service activities through several recognized NGOs. Sir, it is an honor to have you here with us. Please do enlighten us by sharing your journey with us. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the great introduction. And it's my pleasure being a part of this investiture. I heard about your Hurricane, the Innovatia, wonderful initiatives. Very nice to see that you folks are focusing on these aspects of it right at the academics stage. The first thing is I would like to appreciate the folks who are going to be the torchbearers of the Students' Forum. And I wish them a good luck and a great future ahead to all the students here. Few things in my aspects, I handle, as you rightly said, handle large teams, more than 3,000 plus people. HR plays a very key and vital role in any organization. I do not know how many of you truly realize that a HR person, I term HR as human relationship and not as human resource. To me, it's more of a value, right? So I always term HR as a human relationship because you build relationship. And the reason that I'm telling this is when I say that HR people are the face off of the company. Like in Tamil, we say, Karuvarayilirundu Kallare varai, right? Similarly, if you take a life cycle of an employee in an organization, and if you just go to the facts, HR is the first person who talks to the candidate, right? Be it fixing up an interview or from the tag perspective or bringing them on board, helping them with the onboarding process or helping them with their appraisal, help them understand what are their strengths and weakness till the exit. And there is one more point beyond exit, which is the alumni, right? So you see the life, if you take the life cycle of an employee in the company, it's completely, there is no place where HR is not involved. So HR becomes the face of the company. Once an HR starts initiating a discussion with an employee, prospective employee, let us assume a prospective employee, the kind of the first and foremost thing that he observes is how am I being treated? Right from the first call, when he picks up to say, you look, we have a opening like this, would you be interested? I saw your profile in some portal, right? So HR calls for a lot of things. And the most important thing that I consider HR should have is number one is empathy. Number two is a lot of patience. When you talk to a person the first time, and a prospective employee the first time, he sees how is he being treated, how is he being addressed, what kind of a thing. He sees the passion, he sees the fire in the person who talks to him, right? So in HR is supposed to reflect a company ethos or the values that we say. So it's very, very important for a HR person to get aligned completely into the organization values. That's very, very important. Number two, we see HR in various roles, right? Tag, talent acquisition. Then we see comp and ben. Then we see general HR. Then we look at the exit process, right? Where HR is not, there is no place where HR is not involved. Importantly, pandemic has taught us a lot of lessons, and we know how HR has redefined themselves. Earlier, we used to talk to folks, our own employees, right? And see what is it that they are doing in terms of, along with the project team, of course, in terms of what they are delivering. Is there something that they need, right? Managing an employee or managing a co-worker is not that easy a job. One is there are multiple facets to it. One, predominantly, what does a person look into, right? One is a good environment to work, a company that encourages me, that helps me grow in my career, that helps me meet my aspirations. 3, continuous learning is something that a person looks into. Number 4, work-life balance, very, very important, the person looks into. And 5th, even if a person feels that he has to move on, life is so, right? The journey has to happen. And even there's nothing harm in a person leaving the company, but even if I decide to move on further, be it for whatever reason, I'm still being respected, right? That's where the connect of alumni, the connect of the exit interview process, make sure that the employee feels good even if he decides to move away from the organization. So it's a large life cycle. Number 1, as I said, onboarding process, right? We have seen cases where after the interview process, after the process of offer, a person doesn't join, right? Could be multiple reasons. Maybe he has another offer, but I don't feel money is the only constraint why a people is not joining or people do not join an organization. As I said, when HR talks to the person first, he gets an opinion, he forms an opinion about the company through the face of this person or the HR person who reaches out to him to say, would you be interested to come and join me? Right? He gets the first impression. Then he goes to Google, he makes an investigation about the company, what reviews. So what does these reviews reflect? These reviews reflect, possibly these reviews come from people who have quit the company for some reason, right? And probably from some alumni who has been working, who had worked in this company. These reviews become very, very important if somebody has to judge the company. So I would say that HR plays a very, very key role. So be very soft, be very subtle, be very polite. I know it's a very difficult task among all, right? It's easy to make a machine understand what we speak, but it's very difficult to understand a person, understand what we speak and what we are trying to convey, right? Handling machine is rather very easy than handling people. And that's why you guys are great in terms of your responsibilities that you'll be carrying in the future, be it any company. In fact, manufacturing organizations is rather more very difficult because, in organizations like IT where I work, it's kind of difficult, right? So the flavor of difficulty varies between the organizations that you're going to be working with. And there are a lot of avenues here to be even a consultant. It's not necessarily that you need to work, but being a consultant at an early stage doesn't give you that kind of an opening. Once you have a certain level of experience, then you can be your own consultant across any of these responsibilities that you see in HR. Very important thing, I'll give you few use cases that you'll be able to connect. I can talk about it the whole day. I'll give you one nice use case where we have seen how an employee behaves, right? We had an issue with one of the associate. We call everybody the associate. We don't treat anybody as employees because associate gives us a person an inclusiveness in the organization, right? The first case study is a very good person who used to work wonderfully, who used to be a good learner at a point of time after certain period of time after his marriage and other things. We did not see his output or outcome. So we were trying to delve deep into the problem, talk to him to understand what the issue was, why is the performance not to the mark, because he used to be a star performer. Then initially the person did not open up, but our HR did a great job in trying to empathize, being right, and talk to him and find out what the reason is. And then we found that he did not see the work-life balance and there were a lot of turmoils at home. So we decided and we worked together on how to create that work-life balance for him because he was working in a support environment. He has to be available 24/7. because that's become a critical parameter for his job as a portfolio and a position. Right? Then we worked on how to create a work-life balance for him. Right? So, and then we kept him on the learning path. We gave him the progression. We showed how this should be, right? And then the problem was slowly resolved and he was able to come back to life. So this is one of the use case where you will see an issue. In fact, I'll give you another beautiful case where, and this is going to be for the future U stars, the HRs, right? You will see moral threats. When somebody does not perform, any organization will have to review the performance, right? We review performance every 6 months. So we have 2 reviews every year for any employee. A person not performing well, the thread is not dropped. And in fact, if you take me personally, I am the last person in my organization or in my stream to let go of somebody because somebody is not performing. So I will look at change of projects if that would give him a better place to work or that would give him a different environment to work. I try various things here to make sure that this guy delivers. In spite of it, if a person is not delivering, we give something called a PIP, the Performance Improvement Plan or a program. We handhold him to make sure that this person delivers or to make sure that we fill in the gaps of what he's missing actually. It could be technical, it could be personal issues or whatever, right? So we give him the handholding and see how a particular employee did not perform even after PIP and observation of 3 months. So we decided to let him go. The person was under terrible stress and because normally HR talks to him for the exit, right? And then along with the project managers. But this guy started threatening the HR, saying that he would take his life off and make the HR responsible for it, right? So you will see such emotional threats also coming your way in the future. It's not an easy job, please take it from me, but you people are great people in terms of your job responsibilities. That's the reason I'm reiterating this, that you need a lot of empathy, you need a lot of patience to handle human beings, right? Or the human resources in your terms. So that's why I said it's even easy to make a mission work for you, but not human. So that's where you folks play a very, very important and a key role in the organization. So, and then it looked a lot of conviction. Somebody had to talk to him and somebody had to make him understand why even we went to the extent of getting him another job in another organization, right? So because ultimately it's everybody's life and career. So there will be challenges in your career. It's a lot of learning for you every day, right? You will see new things coming up. And a few things that I'm seeing as a trend currently is one is, you said somebody read, right? Engineering IQ. Like what we have an engineering IQ, I call it as an IQ, but in HR terms, I would call it an EQ, emotional quotient, right? It's not an intelligent quotient, it's an emotional quotient, which is very, very essential for HR to understand what a person is and what gap he sees, not only in the professional life, but in the personal life also, and make him come up the curve because everything is interrelated to each other, right? A person, if he's delivering well, on the other side, his family is supporting him, his work-life balance is stable, there could be a lot of other factors, right? So work-life balance is very, very important. 2-3 things that I would like to leave on the table before I close my comment here is, one is we see a lot of opportunity for reskilling. This pandemic, in fact, I would tell you how this pandemic has changed the way the HR perspective. Earlier, we used to be bothered about the associates and to some extent their family, not to that extent. But this pandemic made sure, because everybody is working from home, we made sure that the environment at home is also peaceful for that person because he's going to work from home and still we are not gone to the office yet. And if he is going to work from home, the situation at home should also be peaceful, right? So we should make sure that his family is at peace, starting from the vaccination drives to the counseling drives that we made, right? We hired third-party consultants, we hired third-party counselors, we were tying up with multiple hospitals for a thing. We made sure that their kith and kin were also vaccinated if they were eligible for. We conducted sessions of psychology sessions, counseling sessions for people who are really in need to their families, not only to their employees, right? So this pandemic taught us a lot of lesson in terms of the health of the employee alone is not sufficient, but we should look at the mental and physical health of the family as well for this person to perform well in his job. So that's the learning this pandemic has given us, and this is going to continue. So we have understood, the industry has understood that the welfare of the family along with the welfare of the associate or the employee is very, very important, right? So coming back to the trends that I see, one is we see a lot of skilling opportunities and reskilling opportunities that have come up in this pandemic. People get bored working in the same monotony. So we are helping them in terms of certifications outside, tying up with various forums for certification, skilling and reskilling. Another thing is, a few things can be automated. That's something that we have seen in terms of onboarding task, right? Can we use the artificial intelligence and machine learning to kind of replace some of these monotonous tasks of HR is something that's being explored. So that is another technological development that we are seeing. But nevertheless, I would say that the role of a human relationship person or a human resource person cannot be replaced, right? A machine cannot show empathy. A machine cannot understand what a human being feels, what another person who could be it a co-worker or be it a boss or be it anybody else in the organization can feel. It's only the human who can feel that, who can act with empathy, who can make sure that the other person sustains and comes over whatever the problem is, right? I'll just close my topic with a very, very small story. I hope I'm not exceeding my time. It's a story of 1,000 camels, right? A family man with his wife and kid was very, very happy. I do not know how many of you have heard this story, was very, very happy, but sometimes he always used to have problems in his family, in his business and whatnot. Everybody has problems, right? Everywhere. So he was not knowing how to address that problem. Somehow he felt let down when some personal problem strikes him, some problem in the business strikes him. He feels he feels he's let down by somebody and he's not able to cope up. So he heard about some saint who is actually visiting his town. So he went and met the saint and said, I have something for you, right? And then saint asked, what is it that you have for me? Now I have a question for you. Okay, please pronounce your question. He said, I was a happy man, but at a point of time, I started seeing problems in my business. As my family grew, I have a kid and my wife, I'm seeing problems, issues in my family. And I feel worthless sometimes. So what should I do? So the saint said, that's fine. Do one thing. You come and meet me tomorrow. But for tonight, there are about a few camels, hundreds of camels that I brought with me in my van. Please go and make them all sleep. Okay, they should literally lie down and sleep. Make sure that all the camels sleep, and then you should go to your bed. Okay, that was the task given to him, because the saint said the next day morning he will meet him after he makes all the camels sleep, and he also has a good sleep. So the next day morning, the saint came and he met this guy and asked, I hope you had a good sleep. But this man said, no, I was not able to sleep. He asked why. He said, I was not able to make all the camels kneel down and sleep in a sleeping posture. When I tried to force some of these camels to kneel down and sleep, these camels were not listening to me. Few camels that I tried to make them sleep listened to me initially, but then after some time they woke up and then got up, right? Some camels never even budged to whatever I say. Then the saint said, this is the lesson that you learn, right? Problems are like camels. You cannot solve all the problems like how you are not able to make all the camels sleep. Some problems will vanish the way it came. That's why you saw some of the camels automatically sleeping without you making a hard attempt. Some problems will come like you will try hard, right, to make them sleep, but they won't budge, like those camels whom you saw, you were trying to make them sleep, but they never even budge. Some problems are like you will try to resolve them through some of the solutions or the way that you think about. Those are the camels where you try to make them sleep and they were listening to you for some time at least. So he said, problems are like this in life. Some they will get solved themselves. Some you have to put your thoughts to solve them, and some will never get solved, but over a period of time that will vanish themselves. So life is like this. So the reason that I told this story is there will be problems, there will be issues everywhere, right? There is no place where there is no problem or an issue. So cope up with it, and I'm sure you people will make great HRs in whichever industry that you are in, and wishing this entire team all the very best. And thank you so much for the opportunity provided to me. It was a pleasure being here and talking to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the motivating and informative speech. Your explanation about HR made us all realize that HR is much about human relationship rather than just being called as human resources. Adding on, you mentioned empathy and patience is what makes an HR a perfect person, which even educates us about the characteristics of an HR. And the cases about which you shared is actually making us prepared and know more about the workplace. So I would also like to add one more thing at the last, because if I keep speaking, I can actually keep speaking a lot of them. So like adding on just one more point, the story of the 100 camels gave us a wonderful moral about life, where you actually mentioned that the problems can be solved and some problems can vanish. So once again, thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful speech.
Thank you.
I now call upon Mr. Amarnath, the Secretary of the Student Forum, to introduce our special guest for the day, Mr. Nivin Santosh.
A very good morning to all of you. I find immense pleasure in introducing the special guest speaker for this event. Mr. Nivin Santosh, who is currently a Chief Operating Officer in a startup Vajro, which was formed with Bhaskar Anageshwaran in 2018. Vajro is no-code mobile app builder currently operating in Shopify ecosystem. Catering to over 1,500 Shopify stores, Vajro is the leading mobile app builder for e-commerce stores and has simplified social selling for the US market. They are the first mobile app builder in the world to support in-app live selling, where the store owners can use their native mobile app to do a live sale. Vajro supports selling on Facebook as well. The company has grown over 80% since January 2020. Vajro featured in top Shopify apps for fall 2021. He's an investor and a strategic advisor at Inlestro. He also gave a short talk on last year in Allo Meets on things no one will let you about starting up. He's a dynamic entrepreneur and a wonderful speaker. We are honored to have you with us today, sir. I would like to request our special guest, Mr. Nivin Santosh, to enlighten the audience with your precious word. Thank you and have a great day, everyone.
And thanks a lot for that, Amarnath. I'm very humbled by the whole thing. So yeah, I think I would say I'd go and say this is one of my first speaking session directly in front of a college audience. So back when I was a student, so I used to be a speaker when it comes to teaching students how to build technology. I was a partner with Microsoft in going out and evangelizing and teaching students, conducting workshops and things. But post starting up and entrepreneurship, I've never contributed back to the student community. I feel like this is really a good opportunity for me to start something here. So, but yes, I think it's a great honor to be a speaker in such a prestigious institution, because this is not something this is an institution I've been keeping track of for a long time now, because I've interviewed several candidates, freshers, or even experienced people who are alumnus of MSSW. And I can clearly see the difference in their caliber, difference in their exposure, or the clarity of thought they have. As of course, for me, I have primarily spoke people from the HRM background. So the kind of clarity they're able to bring to the table, that's really phenomenal. And I really so happy that you're all part of this prestigious institution, and I'm pretty sure you're all going to go great heights. And so just to even figure out about what exactly I'm going to speak. So I was actually puzzled, right? So because as I said, this is a new audience, I was just wondering about what exactly to talk about. There are so many ideas, so many things I can share with you. But I was just thinking whether I talk about different aspects of HR, or how the current market works, or different industries there are. There are so many industries, and each industry is very different from an HR perspective. So, and looking at all of you here, looking at hearing the some of the amazing statements said by Mr. Narayan. So I realized that there is something which I personally, as a student, didn't really get when I was listening to these things, because I felt like, that is always a bit of, okay, let me just figure out after I go into the industry, let me go into the career and start things, right? So one of the things I really truly didn't understand, because that's something you get only after you start getting that exposure and experience, is the real value of the hard work, hardships, and failure. So unless you get out there and start doing it, realizing this is going to be hard enough. So I felt like, maybe I can share my small experience. Of course, I don't have such an illustrious career as Mr. Narayan. Of course, yes, huge experience to offer in here on the table. And but I thought, in my small stint of 7 years of my career I have as an entrepreneur, I want to share a list of different different phases of hardships, the glimmer of hope, and then the series of big failures. All those I want to quickly run through, just to give a clarity on how exactly the real life works out there. And as Mr. Raja Samuel mentioned, it's not just what you learn in the university or college, right? So it's all about what you learn from your internships, what you learn from your peers, and what you learn from your colleagues once you get into your career. So I felt like sharing the story could be really useful. So that's the thing. And of course, I'm very fortunate to be one of the co-founders of such a big organization, and we're, as a startup, we have grown really well and have been very successful in the past few years. But the journey here was really tough. So when we started out, I was just a student. So just like everyone else, pretty much in Tamil Nadu, I tried to take engineering and try to pursue a career in engineering. So I even got selected in TCS. So that's what the career I set for myself, and I wanted to quit there. But then there was always an itch of doing something differently, because I had these amazing seniors, right? So once you start connecting with them, connecting with people who have some passion, who want to do stuff, everybody has something very clearly set for them. There was few folks who were saying that I'm going to pursue MS, so I'm going to work for a few years, but then I'm going to move to the States or a different country to pursue MS, or I'm going to do MBA. I'm going to do a particular career in this particular industry. Or that there was one guy who wanted to really be there, a part of a part of the IT department inside the sports industry, because sports is part of his passion. So people had these different passion, and there I was. What I was thinking was, okay, let me get a job, let me get some money. That's all. That's why I get settled, right? So this is the confusion I had. So then I realized that probably this is a mistake made by everyone else. I didn't become an entrepreneur by in a very passionate way or anything. The reason I become an entrepreneur is because there was one fine day I saw the movie Social Network, and I saw how cool the whole thing was, and I realized that, okay, if people are going to do it, he's an engineer, he has done it, and I'm like, I'm gonna be super confident, I'm gonna do it ourselves. That's a big mistake, number one. And that's a rookie mistake, right? So I mean, not everyone makes it, but I made the dumb mistake. So I started out. Lucky for me, I had some initial success. So when I started, and then I started with building mobile apps, since I was a part of my, a partner with Microsoft, and doing some internship with them. So I felt, okay, let me do something for the Microsoft ecosystem. So at that time, Apple and Android was really becoming popular, but I chose Microsoft and tried to do something on the other side, because there was less competition, and being a startup, I wanted to do something out there. And we were lucky enough to do some good apps. We had millions of users using our apps, and we were the first players to build official app for Flipkart for Windows ecosystem, and we also built app for Snapdeal and Amazon back then, because Microsoft was an ecosystem, was not really focused for these companies. And even Flipkart and Snapdeal is no more in the limelight right now, but all the other companies, they were not really focusing there, because even they were startups at that stage. I'm talking about back in 2012 and 2013. So, and that success really thought that, okay, that kind of solidified my false hope that I'm going to be the next Zuckerberg, right? So what I thought then is, okay, I started with something tiny, and of course this is not scalable, because I'm just building it for another company. If I want to be successful, I need to build my own product, my own startup, because there can be any time Flipkart can then say that, hey, we had a good run with you, but we will take it from here, and you stop your business. They have the rights to say that, and it actually happened. We did envisage it earlier, and then we started building another startup, what we call as Price App. So Price App is the biggest failure of my career. So we started out building the mobile app for comparing prices across different platforms, because you search for something, and that was the time where e-commerce is all new, right? I was so excited about e-commerce that the very fact that you can purchase something online, you can deliver it in your doorstep, was super exciting for me. And the fact that I already built app for Flipkart, and then how accustomed I was to the market. So I started building apps in such a way that you go and search for an iPhone, you can find the prices available in Flipkart, Amazon, and all these other sites, and you can, in a single click, you can purchase from there. And I thought that, okay, the e-commerce is still in a very nascent stage in India. If I need to be successful, I need to go to the US market, and that's my rookie mistake. Being in India, having no entrepreneurship experience. And I decided that from here, I'm going to directly go to the US market and build an app for them and be successful there. And that was one big mistake I again made. The third one, I think it's another big one, is we started building it for close to 1.5 years without even releasing to a single customer. We thought that we know everything about a customer. We thought that, okay, like whatever I build, my customers are going to love it, then no matter what, because, that was my thought process, right? I'm Zuckerberg. So that's the whole idea I was going through. So when I started that and built it and released, literally 50 customers used it. And we spent lakhs and lakhs, invested a lot of money. All the profits we made from the previous, successes, we invested back in here. But that was a big failure there. And that really hit hard. So that was when we realized that, okay, there is a lot of things we need to learn. There's a lot of mistakes we have made. And if we want to really be successful here, we need to really pick up, or we just need to shut the shop and then probably go in our own separate ways. So then we realized that, okay, let's analyze our strength and figure out what exactly where the industry is going, where we need to go, and what is the real gap in this industry and how can we address it. So then we realized, being again in the software industry, I felt like, okay, there's a lot of developers out there building all these apps. There are probably hundreds of thousands of developers building similar apps for different industries. We realized that all of these things can be automated. And we saw the trend that, even already in the US and other markets, there are many people who are automating the website development part. And we feel that there are no other players for the mobile app automation. So that's when we got the idea for Vajro. This is back in 2015 or 2016, but the story for Vajro didn't start there. The one thing we were sure that, we made a huge mistake of launching an industry without knowing our customers. So we realized that that's not something we're going to do. So for the next 2 years, we spent working with more than 200 different e-commerce brands, right from some big brands like Unilever, right from, the big IP companies like Relaxo Footwear, the ones, Salman Khan and Akshay Kumar come for ads, right? So all their footwear brands. And we also try to work with a lot of D2C brands, which are, be it in fashion industry, be it in apparels, be it in accessories. So we work with all of these brands to understand what their real needs are. Why do they need a mobile app? And so we spend 2 years struggling, not much with a lot of revenue, with a very, very small team, just to understand what exactly we need for this market. So those 2 years was one of the hardest years of my life, because there was already, we are running back on a failure and we are really struggling to move month on month. How do we survive for the next month was always there on top. And then with all of these, we realized that, okay, this is the product we need to build. And then this is the customer we need to launch for. This is the market we need to launch in. So we did all of this, and then we tried to launch. And the one crucial aspect for this launch was, partnering with a company called Shopify, which Amarnath mentioned. So Shopify is one of the biggest partner we have right now. So we realized that it's going to be very tough for us to be successful as a startup without that partnership. So that's the only thing we were trying out for. So we tried to build that partnership, and then we did a lot of stuff for 6 months. And then finally, when we applied to Shopify for the partnership, they rejected it. One other big failure again. So, and then we tried to build again, and then they again rejected it. So it's not just once, we got rejected twice. Now we are not sure what exactly we are going to do, because as we are bootstrapped, we are not funded, we don't have a huge background, we are coming from a middle class background. We need to survive. There are employees who depend on us, and we need to pay their salaries. We realized that, okay, if things doesn't go well in the next couple of months, let's shut it down. So that's when we realized that, okay, we are going to give one last shot. We are going to still work with the same company, because we know Shopify is really huge and they're really successful, and we know that's the market. Let's crack it. So what we did something counterproductive here. Instead of, we know when we are struggling for cash, we were on the brink of closing down or shutting down our entire dreams as an entrepreneur. What we did was we went ahead and hired few folks. We had new people joining in. We had the right people bringing into the company and start building what is needed to get the partnership going. And the moment we did that, we were really lucky to have some amazing folks, and those folks are still with us. And this is something we're talking about in 2017. So it's close to 4 years and probably 5 years now. And I think, these folks are there with us, and they have done some amazing work for us. And that really clicked for us. So that partnership with Shopify really, changed the entire game for Vajro. So we decided to shut down after 2 months in Jan of 2018. By April of 2018, we got the approval, and we launched a product successfully in Shopify. And within a month, we had 100 customers. So that's the kind of jump we had. And overall, now we have, and Amarnath mentioned that we have 1,500. I'm even more happier to say that the number is actually close to 2,000 now in the past few months too. So we've been doing some amazing stuff for the e-commerce market for the last 3 years, and our customers love us. That's one of the biggest learning we had too. But this is the reason why I told the story, just circling back to because I don't want to say a story just for the sake of it, but circling back to the reason why I started this whole thing is we all make mistakes. We all make big mistakes in life. We all sometimes it's not even mistake. It's because of someone else, right? My struggle with Shopify, we had no mistake from our side. It is just that it was something difficult to attain. It was hard. It was hard. It took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of patience to get there. But these hardships, it really solidified me as a person, as an individual. Forget about the entrepreneur or co-founder or anything of that sort. As just an individual, as just a fresher who started out my career back in 2013, I had no clue what it meant to run a company, but I still ventured into it. I just took a leap of faith and jumped into the river without even knowing swimming, thinking that I can really manage. But in reality, it was not at all. I really drowned. I went up to the bottom. But the real people who helped me is the team I had. The reason why I wanted to convey is the team is really important. Without them, we wouldn't have been where we are right now. And that's one of the biggest learning for me, because at one point I thought it's just me. I can achieve whatever I want myself, but that's not true at all. And that is something you never learn unless you go there and find out what is there and figure out why is this hard, why is there hardships happening, why am I failing, or why am I not achieving the things I want to achieve in a certain timeline. Things take time, and once you start interacting with people, understanding where they're coming from, it's going to be super easy to work with, because as a unit we're all going to be super strong. The reason I said is, that's another thing too. As HR, I was the one handling the whole HR part for a long time in my company in the initial years. So in those years, one thing I really learned, and I also learned from doing all these interviews with other HR people too, because they teach me a lot of stuff, and I was so excited about this, because one thing I learned from this is what Mr. Narayan mentioned too, is the empathy part. The more empathetic you are, the more you try to understand others' perspective, the more you understand about where they're coming from, right? Each and every person who has, no matter what their experience, even a fresher, right? Everyone has a story, everyone has a dream, and everyone has their own passion. Once you understand why they are doing certain things, once you understand their side of things and be empathetic about it, any problem that's there, we are going to solve it, because everything has a simple solution there. It's just that we need to be empathetic just to understand others' perspective. And as an HR, you're going to be one of the luckiest people to interact with various different stakeholders in a company, be it the management, be it your own colleagues, be it new interns coming into the company for any other departments, the department heads, or even new employees, right? So, and of course, when you work with people branding, you also work with other consultants, other marketers. So there are so many aspects, so many people interaction you're going to have. And one big thing that's going to be crucial in your success is the empathy and being that culture champion. How exactly you handle the conflicts, how exactly you handle the emotional problems, that maturity which you keep gaining through your internships, through your interaction with others, that's going to define how successful you are as an HR, and it's going to transform your orbit, transfer your career into an entirely different orbit. So that I want to keep it very crisp and short, and that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. But overall, I really want to thank everyone who made these things happen, and it's really nice to see all these initiatives you guys are doing in your very early in your career. Because when I was a student, I need to take all of these steps on my own to achieve something. And now seeing that your college is supporting this, all your your professor, your ma'am, and of course the management, they're taking so much effort to bring in the speakers and talking to them and helping you make your own initiatives, giving you that ownership and responsibility. That's something amazing. That's something we struggle to see in freshers early on in my career. And I can already see the change and the trend now. But you're all lucky to be in this generation of education right now. And of course, finally, a big congrats, and my best of luck to all the torch bearers and the whole team who are making these things happen. So yes, that's with you guys.
Thank you so much, sir, for the enlightening and the engaging speech. The experience you shared about the hardships faced in life gave all the students to realize nothing can be done without determination, and especially without the never giving up attitude. You put forward a point where mistakes is okay to be done, challenges should be faced, and in the end, success is a sure thing. Having faith and confidence in oneself is what's going to make us succeed in life. And we are really fortunate to have you as our speaker, listening to your first ever motivational speech. Once again, thank you so much, sir.
Sure thing.
Great leaders don't tell you what to do. They show you how it's done. And as we have seen from the past, MAHRM has had a wonderful legacy where it has produced inspiring leaders who have fulfilled their duties with all the commitment, passion, and integrity. The investiture ceremony is the first of the many momentous occasions of our department where the newly elected members are officially vested in their responsibilities and positions, thus equipping themselves to take on new challenges. And on that note, may I now request our Dean of Self-Finance, Dr. R. Subhashini, to felicitate the office bearers.
Good morning to all of you present. I'm audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am.
A very good morning to all of you assembled, especially to the chief guest, both of the speakers for the day. It was very, very enlightening to hear Mr. Narayan and Mr. Santosh address you all. I'm sure you gained a lot of knowledge and information from both of them. They spoke with so much of passion, and it was all from their heart. So I'm sure it was a great learning experience for all of you students. My wishes to and greetings to Dr. Raja Samuel, the principal, HOD Mohana, Dr. Mohana, and Evangeline, who is anchoring the whole thing, Dr. Evangeline, the entire faculty of the department, Dr. Hemakumar, Prabhakar, and Lavanya, is it? Okay, and of course, Lavanya and my dear students. It's very, very fascinating and wonderful to associate with all of you on this investiture program, because I'm very happy and proud to be associated with the HRM department on behalf of Madras School of Social Work, because you bring us pride. We connect to the outside world, especially to the corporate world. It is through you. Placements are very good. And I think most of you are alumni from this department, are very successful and contributing a lot to the corporate world. So I'm sure I'm really happy and feel always proud that you students are doing a great job with the support of your faculty. Similarly, this year you're starting off with the office bearers taking office. I wish you continue the same legacy of doing all your best to see that the forum activities are where you will be able to connect with people. You bring speakers, such inspiring speakers and motivating speakers who can teach you a lot of things. Knowledge sharing is something that you get from these forum activities. So get whatever, connect with people, and experiential learning. Each one did share their experience. So you'll have a lot of experiential learning. So it is very necessary for these forum activities, which are, part of and not part of your curriculum, because there is an academic input that is required, but these things are more than what your books can teach you. So it is very necessary that the leaders of the forum take it forward and, see that you get a lot of connects and inputs into the department so that everybody benefits. And those who are just not necessarily taking the leadership roles, you also have to contribute, because you'll also have a lot of, it's not necessary that one should be a leader in any group. One should, even being a participant, can be a very active participant. So you can, in your own way, contribute to this forum activity and see that the department, the students, all of you benefit. Another thing that I always recall about this department is, of course, the Hurricane, the magazine that you all bring out. And I like that dipstick study that you all, year on year, you make a study. I wish, and I've been always telling the department, you must, it's a very nice, small research work. It should be published. It should be known to people. Wherever you're making the study, let them know about it, and also share that knowledge with others, because a lot of effort goes in, but then I don't see it converting into something where, visibility is possible. So please do that also. I wish the forum all the best. We are the department is in its 17th year, but the college is moving to its platinum year, the 70th year, very shortly. So you are all fortunate that you'll be part of this platinum jubilee year of MSSW. So it's a proud moment for all of us. Please take active part and be this 2 years that you're going to stay, first years will be here for 2 years with us. The second years might be just 1 more year. You would learn a lot of things, and I wish you all the best for this learning experience. All the best.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I now request Mr. Hemant Kumar, Assistant Professor of MA HRM Department, to narrate the election process of HR Symphony and to call upon the office bearers to administer the oath.
Dear Chief Guest, the office bearers of HR Symphony are elected democratically by the students to anchor the HR Symphony. The team comprises of both second year and first year students. President, General Secretary, Treasurer, Lead Documentation, and Lead Design will be elected from the second year students by their classmates. Vice President, Joint Secretary, Associate Treasurer, Associate Documentation Lead, Associate Design Lead from first year students. This year, the newly elected members are Lochana, President, Amarnath, General Secretary, Ananya, Treasurer, Kartiga, Lead Documentation, Jaswant Reddy, Lead Design, Hariharan P, Vice President, Ritika, Joint Secretary, Vandana, Associate Treasurer, Varsha, Rose Matthew, Associate Documentation Lead, and Mahurul Fazima, Associate Design Lead. Now, it's time to take oath to assume charge officially to your respective positions. Repeat after the vote after I say. I solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge to the best of my ability
I will faithfully discharge to the best of my ability
the duties
and
responsibilities
responsibilities
of your position.
of your position.
I will abide by the rules of the college,
I will abide by the rules of the college,
the department,
the department,
and support the vision
and support the vision
and the activities directed towards the HR Symphony.
and activities directed towards HR Symphony.
This I do of my own accord.
This I do of my own accord.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. To be a good leader, you sometimes need to go down the untraveled path. Inspire your people to reach higher, dream bigger, and achieve greater. If you inspire them to reach for the stars, they just might bring you back the moon. And on this note, we would like to congratulate and wish the newly elected office bearers and all the students all the success in the upcoming future. Any event would be incomplete if we didn't express our gratitude to everyone who helped make it possible. And on that note, I now request Dr. P. Prabhakaran, Assistant Professor of MA HRM Department, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Vaishali. I deemed it a great privilege to propose vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. First and foremost, I would thank our keynote speaker, Mr. Narayanan Sundaresan, Vice President, Virtusa, and our special guest, Mr. Niveen Santosh, COO, Vajra. Despite their busy schedule, they have found their time to grace this occasion. I express my heartfelt gratitude to our principal, Dr. Raja Samuel, for his constant support and encouragement. I would like to also extend my thanks to our own Dean, Dr. Subhashni, for her valuable guidance. At this juncture, I would put forth my special gratitude to our head of the department, Dr. Mohana, for her vision and commitment. And I would like to extend my thanks to all the professors of our department for their significant contribution. Last but not the least, I would like thank my own department students who have worked meticulously to make this, to organize this a great success event. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Students are kindly requested to remain in the call till the dignitaries leave the meet.
Thank you, everyone.
Students, the program has come to an end. You may leave now. Thank you. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Jaswant.
Sir.
ஏப்பா இது நான் சொல்லும்போது நீ ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர் பண்ணலையா?
ஸ்பாட்லைட் போடுறதுக்குள்ள ஓத்து முடிஞ்சிருச்சு சார். ஒவ்வொருத்தரும் போடுறதுக்குள்ள சீக்கிரம்.
ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர் பண்ணல, எனக்கு டக்குனு இதாயிடுச்சு. அது பேர்னா என் ஸ்கிரீன் போயிட்டு திருப்பி யூடியூப் சேனல் வந்துருச்சு டக்குனு.
ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர் கரெக்டா நீங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணும்போது ஷரத் போட சொன்னேன். அவர் நீங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணி கொஞ்ச நேரம் கழிச்சு தான் போட்டாரு. சார் இன்னும் லைவ் போயிட்டு இருக்கு சார்.